And hi, my name is Representative Jim MacKay. I'm a candidate for state representative in Ward 4 of Concord. And I would like to start off by first thanking Concord Cable TV for providing this service to the voters. It's my opinion that this is the most important election in the 32 years I've been running for office. I believe our democracy is at stake, and therefore I'm very hopeful that people will get out and vote. I have no intention of telling people how they should vote, except for one minor exception. The legislature, as you know, is very large. We're the third largest English-speaking legislature in the world, only after U.S. Congress and England. Because of that, we're very unusual in the sense that we get paid very little, and since I live within 1 mile of the State House, mileage doesn't amount to anything. Therefore, this is really a volunteer organization. I want to talk a little bit about how the legislature works. About a third of the legislature gets replaced every 2 years. We essentially are organized in many different ways, but in terms of legislation, the legislature works under a series of standing committees, of which there are at least 10. I serve and have served for the last 18 to the 20 years I've been there on the Committee on Health, Human Services, and Elderly Affairs. So we are the ones that the legislature turns to when they're looking for inside information about pending legislation. So that all of the people who are elected to the legislature supposedly are informed about all pending legislation, which is hundreds, if not thousands, of bills. Now, this is a very strange session coming up because so much of the last session was interfered with by the COVID virus, and hundreds and hundreds of bills were tabled and eventually killed because of the inability on our part to deal with all of this legislation, so that the newly elected legislators have the responsibility of bringing back legislation that was very important, that was worked on sometimes for months, even years. The particular area that concerns me, I was appointed by the Speaker Shurtleff to be chairman of a subcommittee of the Health Committee on mental health, addictions, and suicide prevention. That is extremely important, and it's very unusual for a person of the stature of the Speaker to speak about the mental illness issues in his own family, including his service in the Vietnam War. So he is to be commended for being a strong supporter of mental health. We've done very well in the last session for a change. 10 years ago, I was chairman of the 10-year mental health plan that was never activated. This year, we have a new 10-year plan, and much of that has been activated, including services for mentally ill children, getting people out of the emergency rooms in hospitals, any number of issues around that. Suicide issues have gone up during the period of time when the COVID was requiring people to be at home, so that as we go back into this session, and frankly, we don't know where we're going to go back into. The last 3 sessions we had were at the university at the skating arena. And you may have read about some of the difficulties we had there. So that an awful lot of activities require experienced legislators, at least a significant number of people who have experience in the complicated processes that are required in the legislature. I've been elected in Concord, first in the Concord City Council for 12 years, 4 of which was as mayor, and now for the last 20 years in the legislature. I think that it's important that people with that kind of background be reelected. They're needed badly so that we can get off to a very strong beginning for the next session. I mentioned earlier that I wasn't going to tell people who to vote for, with one exception. That one exception for me would be to ask you to please vote for Jim MacKay to be reelected to Ward 4 State Representative position, and I would very much appreciate that vote. I would like to again remind people, please get out and vote. It is extremely important to protect this country, and I hope you will do that. Concord votes from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night. It essentially is fairly easy. People are fearful because of the virus issues that are faced. In the primary, there were no issues at all. Everything went very smoothly, and therefore I hope that everybody will get out and vote. But if you're nervous, you can still vote by absentee ballot. So thank you very much, and thank you for cable TV for allowing me these few minutes to speak to you. Thank you very much.